Hello, Millwall fans. Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Post-match analysis for Chat with Chaps. We're finished. Bromley 1, Millwall 2. This is a post-match analysis video, but if I'm honest, I'm going to talk a bit more general about where we are at the moment, a couple of weeks out to the season. I'm not going to do like a play-by-play on the game yesterday because I don't think anyone wants to hear that. But it's been a while since I've come on and done a video, so I thought I would pop on. I managed to get down there yesterday. Big thank you to my friend Phil, Mr. Clark, for helping me out with a ticket because I stupidly hadn't realised that it was sold out. So thank you. It's only a local game, and yeah, it was nice to see that, to get down there. Obviously, see some of the newer players in action. Obviously, some former Millwall players as well playing their trade at Bromley, and I felt that Bromley were in my opinion, a well-organised League Two side. I thought they were far superior than Wimbledon. I wasn't at the Wimbledon game, but I watched it on the telly. I thought they were a far superior side to Wimbledon. I thought they were well-organised, well-structured, well-drilled. Probably got it wrong from an attacking sense. They spent a lot of their time sort of pumping the ball up, which was easy for Cooper, Tanganga to deal with. But then at the end of the day, there is a clear golfing class, and you'd expect it to be that way. But overall, and again, you've got to take the opposition into account. I thought we played quite well. For me, in these games, I don't really look for too much because I think you can overanalyze friendlies, right? But I think what you can start to see is some patterns of play. That's what I want to look for. I want to look for fitness levels, patterns of play, little combinations, and maybe just some style bits and pieces. And obviously to get everyone through the games, not getting injured. The only player, obviously, for us that I don't know how bad it was Idu Amaku coming off in the second half. And by the way, thoughts with Cole Jenkinson, because my understanding is he dislocated his hip in the run up to our second goal. So that's a nasty one. So yeah, hope he was okay. That was the big stoppage in play. So yeah, a 2-1 win, two nice goals, two very similar goals, right? And I think this is where, in terms of those patterns of play, to me, these are the things that the players probably would have been working on. What I like about Alex Neil is I think his team does have a clear identity of what they're trying to achieve. And the thing that he tries to do, which is still, by the way, I'm adamant we need a right back, is he likes to create overloads in certain areas that therefore give us opportunities like the ability to cut back and the ability for us to get men into the box. I mean, there's no surprise that happened so many times yesterday. But although we play with two wingers, we kind of play with one really wide. And then what we want is the right back to overlap Negley if Negley's going to start. Like the Nook and Negley, but he definitely isn't match fit yet. I will go through some of the players in a minute. But to me, there's a clear identity there. There's a clear structure of what we're trying to achieve. And I think that I love Tristan Kramer. I love Ryan Leonard. I love Wes Harding. But none of them are going to be that rampaging right wing back. I've said it before, we need a Norton Cuffy, but that ship sailed. So we need to look for someone else. Ethan Galbraith would have been good. Went to Swansea. He can also operate in centre midfield. But we need one of those. And I think we're crying out for that. I still think we are light in a few areas. And some of that's just the injuries. Like the amount of players that still aren't playing minutes is concerning, considering we're 2 weeks out now. No Zach Sturge, no Joe Bryan, no Billy Mitchell. No, obviously, I don't know where Kevin Nisbet is. I don't know where Dan Kelly is. Still no Lovelace. There's so many players. I would have forgotten a few, I'm sure, in there. But there's so many players that still are yet to get minutes, which I think is great because there's more bodies to come back. But I think it also is getting to the stage where it's a little bit concerning. I don't really know what's going on there. So yeah, look, I'm just sort of going through some of the players. Like I said, two really well taken goals. I think great to see Rays Bangura Williams back on the pitch, and the finish just oozed class, didn't it? It was really, again, well well built up goal. Femi with a cutback, and it was just a superb. I was right behind it, and a really well taken goal from him. And I think Reyes is going to have a real big season for us, and really looking forward to that. And all these different options and combinations we've got up front is quite exciting. I'm naturally quite a pessimist, but I'm actually quite excited about this season. I look at the spine of our team, and I look at and yes, obviously this is predicated on Tanganga staying. I cannot see it. I cannot see him being here come the end of August. He might be here on the start of the season, but I can't see him being here end of August. I just can't. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see it. There's still, 6 weeks of the window left, 5, 6 weeks. We've already rebuffed offers from Italy. I just can't see it. But the spine of the side, I think Denor is an incredibly important player for us. I don't think we've got. I like Billy. I like the look of Luongo. Kundal, I'm still not 100% on, but to me, Denor is vital, keeping him fit. And I think he was an excellent player when we signed him, but I think he's got even better. I think he's added a bit more steel to his game, a little bit, I guess, just of playing in the Championship, the knowledge and experience. And I think he's better with the dirtier side of the game. I think he's incredibly important. And then Mihailo. I think Mihailo has developed so much in such a short space of time. And to me, from what I've seen over the pre-season, he's developed even more. And I don't know whether that, I mean, it's testimony to him, first and foremost, for his obviously effort, determination to constantly improve himself. And obviously the club deserve credit for that as well. But some of the touches yesterday, the way he would just bring the ball down, and yes, you would expect him to look good against a League Two side, but still, he stood out. And I think everything we did positive going forwards, he was involved in. I thought he was excellent yesterday, and I think he is an incredible prospect for us. And I'm convinced he'll go on. Obviously, got another goal yesterday, but I'm convinced he'll go on to get another. He'll get 15 goals easily in the Championship, in my opinion, this season. And that's if he stays. I think the challenge we have is, on one hand, you could say he's got 3 years left on his deal, I think, something like that. He's seems to be enjoying it here. We don't need to sell him, right? But on the other hand, if someone comes in and offers you 15 million, a majority of it up front, and you spent only 2.5, 3 million a year ago, it becomes very difficult to keep him. And I wouldn't want to have to make that decision, that's for sure. For me personally, I think it suits all parties for him to be here till at least, January. And who knows, a Premier League club could be panicking and, coming off 25 million for him. I don't know. But we'll have to see where that ends up. But how refreshing is it to be talking about players and young players that have got that clubs are interested in? A couple of years ago, this didn't exist. We were letting our best players run out on a contract for free, like Jed, right? So, I thought Mihailo was excellent yesterday. His touches, his strength. I also thought Josh was really good, and I really like them in a two. I don't think there's going to be many centre-back pairings that want to face both Josh and Mihailo. I think Josh, again, looks like he isn't bulked up, but he seems to be a little bit more physical. I don't know whether he maybe had a knock towards the end of last season, but I really like the dirty work that Josh does as well, by the way. I think he looks really good. Negley, clearly quality player, just needs to get fit. I like the fact he likes to shoot. I think he's going to score a couple of screamers this season, so really optimistic there. Femi Aziz, I think, has got the potential to be a standout player this season. He looks in incredible shape. He didn't have his best game yesterday. Obviously, he's got the assist, but from what I've seen so far, I just think he's going to be phenomenal. And I think he was one of our best players towards the end of last season. So he was great. I've talked about Casper. Luke Kundal, I don't know. I just don't know where he fits in, to be honest. He's not a bad player, but I haven't seen enough yet. So I think for me, the jury's still out. and we'll have to see what ends up there. Where's he going to play? I personally like playing 2 up top. Does he play in the 10? But then he's not one of those sort of honeymoon worker 10s, right? So I don't know. Cundall's one that the jury's out for me. Obviously, my first opportunity to see Mr. Luongo. I did a video on Luongo a little while ago in terms of when I thought he was going to sign, and I think it's a good deal for all parties. You know, he showed when he came on yesterday in his cameo role that he just keeps things simple. He just keeps the ball ticking over. He clearly has got a really high football EQ. He knows when to press, when not. And that's the exact. He brings a lot of the, without being Millwall, he brings a lot of the characteristics and attributes that we've lost in George Savile. So to me, it's a signing that makes sense. I said that when it was rumoured, and I think it'd be good for us for the next year or so. Obviously, bearing in mind he turns 33 in September. A few people saying he looks a bit overweight. I think, to be honest, he's just a chunky bloke. I remember him when he was at QPR, and he wasn't exactly a rake. So yeah, I think he's just. I think that's just his stature. Obviously, really want to get Billy Mitchell back in the team because I would like to think he'll start the season. I don't know. So and then the defense. So I think Coops and Tango. I mean, they're just class. Tristan had a couple of good moments actually in the first half. I think he went close twice with a header and then a follow up at the far post. I really like Crammer. Again, I think he's a player that's got an incredibly high ceiling. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up back playing in the Premier League, hopefully with us, but if not, someone else in the next few years. I think he's got that personality to be a little bit of a leader. I think you can see that comes across. He's obviously versatile. So again, a brilliant acquisition for us, and really pleased that he's here. Leonard, he's not a left back, right? I don't want to see him play left back next season. He's filling in and doing a job at the minute, but I don't really want to see him there because he cannot use his left foot in any way, shape, or form. But I love Ryan Leonard. I think he's vital to the dressing room, the leadership. I think he's incredibly important, and I would imagine him and Coops are now like the 2 main voices in the dressing room, considering what we've lost. I think you'll start to see some of the likes of Billy, Caspar, Tristan step up. Wes, I think Wes was an important signing to keep, by the way. I think his flexibility, versatility, and some of his leadership qualities are really important. It was a really good pullback, by the way, as well for that second goal. So yeah, Idemo, I've seen a little bit of him over pre-season, and I don't know. I really want him to come good. I really do, because he's got the raw attributes to be a very, very good player. But I feel he lets his confidence burn him too much. I think you can see it. If he doesn't beat the man, I think you can see his confidence go. And I also think he needs to improve his everything I said about Luongo in terms of just knowing where to be on the pitch and when to, press, when not to, who to press, how to stay in shape, how not to. All those, I think he needs to learn that. And you can hear constantly Alex Neil talking to him. So I think that's that one there. Who have I missed? The keepers. I mean, Crocombe has had the square root of Jack to do in all of the friendlies that I've seen, but he seems assured. His kicking's not great, but we knew that. But yeah, he seems like a really good keeper to come in and try to, I guess, compete for that number 1 spot with obviously Stephen Bender arriving. He's going to have all sorts chanted to him this season, and I hope he's prepared for that. I know he didn't cover himself in glory for their goal, but you can't judge someone based on a 20-minute appearance on the day he signed. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I do have a few friends that are Fulham season ticket holders, and they don't expect to speak too highly of him. But we'll have to see how that transpires. But obviously he knows Fulton well, and I think it gives us something in the goalkeeping department now. Very much expect George Evans to go out on loan. He needs to be a number 1. I would imagine a League 2 side, if not, National League. I would imagine he'll go and do that. Same with Alfie Massey. Alfie Massey needs to go out on loan. I've been really impressed with what I've seen of him so far. He needs to go out on loan. I would like to see, I don't know whether loan or on the periphery of the squad. but I've really liked the look of Lamptey. AJ Matthews looks good, but a little bit lightweight. And Sheldon Kendall also looks like a really good prospect. So we've got some really good lads coming through. And the one I do want to talk about is Howland. I thought in the games in Spain, he didn't really do much. But against Wimbledon, he just, to me, I think he's like 17, 18. He looks more physically developed than most 17, 18-year-olds. And he's got this kind of air of, I think, who was it who said it? Was it Angelo? I think Angelo said it in the week. It's like Grealish style look about him, not just because of the way he dresses and stuff, but the way he carries the ball. I really like him. I'd be tempted to keep him around. But then we've also got the likes of Benicio Baker. We've got Lovelace to come back. So there's competition for places, but I still think we need to have 2 or 3 more. You know, if I'm assessing the squad right now, I think we need at least 1 centre back, because I'm going to assume that Tanganga goes, unfortunately. I want to see Crammer play as a centre back for some of the friendlies. I know he did in the second half yesterday, but we got to assume that, I don't know, maybe I'm being defeatist, but I'm just convinced Mr. Tanganga is going to be off. So I want at least another centre back. We were heavily rumoured with that Caleb Taylor. I think Cooper is going into the last year of his contract, by the way. So I think the club should look to try and get that sorted out, because for me, he's someone that we absolutely must keep beyond this season. I don't know if there's any options or anything. And I think Casper Denor is also in that boat. So to me, once the window is shut at the end of August, if you listen to this, the club concentrate on locking in Cooper and Denor. I think that's imperative that we do that. I would like, I've said a right back. To me, that's the biggest priority. That's priority number 1, and we should be prepared to invest money there. I don't know whether I want another central midfielder. I'm not sure. I think it depends on whether we think Kelly, Massey, or Kundal are viable options in that 2. If they're not, we maybe need 1 more, because I can't see Luongo being able to play many, many games. And then I think I want another forward option. So, of course, we've got Mihailo, Josh, assuming that Mihailo stays, Macaulay Langstaff, and Kevin Nisbet. I would be gobsmacked if both of those are still here. Arguably, you could make cases for both of them going. You know, it's just weird that Nisbet was, you know, fit last season and now all of a sudden he's injured again. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know whether, I don't really know what's going on there. And then Langstaff, I really want him to work. He works his cogs off, doesn't he? And I actually think where he's been playing a little bit deeper, he's shown a little bit more intelligence with some of the runs. Like, what was it, the Palace game? The vision to anticipate that ball was going to drop, and then he took it in his stride. But then the problem was the finish. That was the problem, wasn't it? I want him to work. Is he up to the level? I think it's open for debate. But like I said, I think we need 1 more forward option. So what's that? That's a right back, a centre back, maybe a central midfielder, and another forward option. So there's still 3 or 4 more I think we need to bring in. That is on the assumption that no one else goes. So yeah, I think it's going to be hopefully a busy 4 to 6 weeks. I know the window's open till then, but I'm sure the club are trying to get their business done sooner rather than later, right? But yeah, I think overall what I've seen, I have to say I am really optimistic. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if we can keep that together, it really is shaping up to be a really good season. So yes, looking forward to it. I don't think I'm going to be able to make. I might try and get to Sutton on Tuesday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make next Saturday. Got family arrangements, but very much looking forward to opening day on Norwich. It'd be so Millwall, wouldn't it, to go to Norwich and win for the first time since '68, and then lose to our dear friends down the road for the first time since 1995. So we'll see. But really looking forward to the start of the season. A couple of things I wanted to sort of bring up outside of yesterday's game and whatever. So I hope you're still listening to me. The first one is, I know the boys shouted out the other day, but just another shout out to Hughesy and Dave Miles, who are avid listeners of the podcast, and I know you're going through some difficulties at the minute, so just want to let you know we're thinking of you, and to anyone else, by the way, that we may not know about. It's the reason we do it. We continue to work with cancer research, and that leads me nicely onto my next and final point, which is I'm really pleased to share, and I'll broadcast this more widely at some point, but I kind of just wanted to sort of share that we've managed to now hit over the 10,000 mark raised so far, which is just fantastic. And thank you to each and every one of you. The company that I work for were kind enough to match some of the donations that we'd put in, and so really good to get it over that 10,000 mark. And that's just testimony to everyone that likes, shares, subscribes. So if you haven't, please do that. Tell your friends about the podcast. Get your missus to subscribe. Doesn't whatever, right? Get your dog to subscribe. It all helps. And obviously all those that have donated as well, and of course all the lads for putting in their spare time into this podcast. So we thank you all, and we appreciate it. And I'll leave it there. Leave it on that positive note, and just to say I cannot wait for the start of the season. Seems to be taking forever. The cricket's been a nice welcome distraction, but But anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend wherever you are. Hopefully the weather starts to pick up, and hopefully I'll see some of you on Tuesday at Sutton. As always, thanks for listening, and bye for now.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.